Beneath the veneer of skepticism, reality bears witness to chilling truths. In the haunting corridors of history, where shadows dance with undeniable evidence, remember this, the stories are true. Prepare for a revelation. Where the supernatural is stripped of fiction, and the unknown is laid bare. Are you ready to confront the undeniable? The stories are true, and the echoes of reality await.
Or gather round, my brave souls, and let me regale you with tales of room 333 at the illustrious Langham Hotel in Marylebone. Picture this, a room so haunted, even the most skeptical journalists have been spooked out of their wits. Yes, folks, we're talking about ghosts aplenty, not just your run-of-the-mill spectres, mind you, but a whole array of eerie apparitions that'll make your hair stand on end like a frightened hedgehog. Now, who in their right mind wouldn't relish the chance to cozy up in a haunted hotel room? But before you rush off to book your stay, let me paint you a vivid picture of the phantoms that call room 333 their spectral stomping grounds. First up, we've got a dashing Victorian gent, a doctor no less, who tragically ended his honeymoon with a murderous twist. Can you imagine? Silver-haired, cloak-clad, and with eyes as vacant as an abandoned mansion, he's been known to make his ghostly rounds in October, giving unsuspecting guests the fright of their lives. But wait, there's more. A beefy German prince with a penchant for early morning strolls through walls, a man with a ghastly wound haunting the hallways, and even Emperor Napoleon III himself, seeking refuge in the hotel's basement in his twilight days. And let's not forget the mischievous spirit who delights in tipping sleeping guests out of their beds, like some spectral prankster with a morbid sense of humor. Rumor has it, one poor soul was so terrified by the ghostly bed shaking that they fled the premises faster than you can say boo. But it's not just the guests who have stories to tell. Oh no, the Langham staff have had their fair share of encounters too. From a butler in holy socks to a footman decked out in powdered wig and pale blue livery, their presence often heralded by a bone-chilling drop in temperature. So, my brave adventurers, are you ready to test your mettle against the phantoms of room 333? Or will you join me in the safety of the nearest non-haunted establishment, where the only thing haunting us is the possibility of a mediocre continental breakfast?
So, gather round, folks. Let me regale you with a tale as old as Tinseltown itself, centered on the illustrious Culver Studios, a place where Hollywood dreams were spun and legendary films like Gone with the Wind and Raging Bull were brought to life. Picture this. It's 1918, and the silent movie maestro Thomas N.C. decides to grace the world with his very own studio complex. Little did he know it would become the stage for one of Hollywood's most enduring mysteries. Now N.C. was a man of vision, but alas, his tale took a tragic turn in 1924. Legend has it that during a lavish birthday bash aboard William Randolph Hearst's yacht, N.C. met his untimely demise. Some say it was heart failure, but others whisper of a more scandalous end, a bullet meant for Charlie Chaplin, fired by the jealous Hearst himself, who had eyes for Chaplin's gal, Marion Davies. Now fast forward to today, and you've got folks claiming they've seen all Thomas himself sauntering through walls and giving his 2 cents on studio management. Can you imagine? A ghostly critic haunting the very place he helped build. But wait, it doesn't stop there, folks. If you saunter on over to the Culver Hotel, you might just find yourself rubbing elbows with spirits of a different kind. Down in the bar, where the cocktails flow as freely as the tales of yore, guests swear they've encountered ghostly apparitions roaming the halls. And wouldn't you know it, this hotel was once under the same roof as Culver Studios, playing host to none other than the filming of Gone with the Wind. Talk about history, am I right? So, next time you find yourself in the vicinity of Culver Studios or the Culver Hotel, keep your wits about you. You never know when you might catch a glimpse of a ghostly figure from Hollywood's golden age, or perhaps even share a drink with one. Just remember, in Tinseltown, the legends never truly rest in peace.
In the frigid depths of the Ural Mountains, amidst the unforgiving expanse of Soviet Russia in February 1959, a chilling mystery unfurled that would baffle investigators for decades to come. It was the Dyatlov Pass incident, a macabre tableau etched into the icy landscape, where the harsh bite of winter was matched only by the horrors discovered by the search party. Their quest, initially one of rescue, swiftly transformed into a grim odyssey as they stumbled upon a scene straight from a nightmare. a tent torn asunder from within, its fabric flayed open like the maw of some ravenous beast. 9 sets of footprints, a haunting trail leading away from the shredded shelter, bearing witness to a frantic flight into the unknown. Some wore only socks, others a solitary shoe, while the bravest trod barefoot upon the icy ground. Their tracks wove a tale of desperation, leading to a forest where a feeble fire cast flickering shadows upon the snow. And there, amidst the eerie glow, lay the first grim discovery, 2 figures clad in naught, but their undergarments, their bodies succumbing to the merciless embrace of hypothermia. But the horrors did not end there. 3 more souls, their lifeless forms strewn nearer to the forsaken tent, hinted at a futile attempt to seek refuge. And then, as if swallowed by the very forest itself, the final 4 bodies emerged months later, shrouded in layers of clothing scavenged from their fallen companions. Post-mortems painted a grim portrait of demise. Hypothermia claimed the first 6, yet whispers of violence lingered in the chill mountain air. Broken skulls and ribs bore silent witness to unseen forces, their injuries internal, suggesting a brutality beyond comprehension. And then the grotesque mutilations, missing tongues, eyes, lips, and eyebrows, a macabre puzzle with no solution in sight. Theories swirled like snowflakes in a blizzard, each one as tantalizingly elusive as the next. Were they victims of a savage assault by local tribesmen or beasts of the wild? The absence of tracks or signs of struggle whispered otherwise. Yeti? Unlikely, but who's to say they leave tracks at all? Some whispered of Soviet secrets, of clandestine experiments gone awry, veiled in the shadowy cloak of government cover-ups. Others dared to dream of extraterrestrial intervention, sparked by reports of strange orange spheres dancing in the night sky. Yet, amidst the clamor of conjecture, one question echoed louder than the howling winds. What truly befell the ill-fated souls of Dyatlov Pass? Avalanche? The very mention seemed to crumble under scrutiny. No evidence of such catastrophe marred the landscape where the bodies lay, the remnants of a feeble fire still clinging to life, and the missing clothes, the haunting absence of eyes and tongues. Such mysteries defied the logic of falling snow. Could they have mistaken the roar of parachute mines for the rumble of an avalanche, a fatal misinterpretation that drove them into the cold embrace of death? To this day, the enigma endures, a riddle wrapped in the icy embrace of the Ural Mountains. Theories rise and fall like snowflakes upon the wind, each one tantalizingly close yet maddeningly elusive. Catabolic winds, Carmen vortexes, whispers of phenomena both natural and supernatural, yet none can fully unravel the tangled web of mystery that shrouds Dyatlov Pass. Like shadows cast upon the snow, they hint at truths just beyond reach, leaving only the bitter chill of uncertainty in their wake.
Gather round, my dear companions, for I've got a yarn that'll have you grinning like a Cheshire cat and scratching your noggin in wonderment. Picture this. Nestled snug as a bug beneath the charming facade of the Townhouse restaurant in Venice lies the infamous Del Monte Speakeasy. Now back in the roaring days of Prohibition, when the law turned its nose up at the mere mention of a tipple, this joint was the bee's knees, keeping the hooch flowing through secret underground passages that now serve as nothing more than dreary utility corridors. Legend has it that old Frank Bennett, bless his soul, was the mastermind behind this boozy haven. From 72 till he kicked the bucket in 203, Frank ran the joint with the finesse of a circus ringmaster. But here's the rub. Whispers abound that Frank, may he rest in peace, still saunters the dusty floorboards of his cherished corner booth, casting a spectral eye over the merry patrons from across the bar. Venice, you see, was a wild and woolly place back in the day, especially when it came to quenching one's thirst for the forbidden fruit. Now, Carradine, bless his cotton socks, reckons this speakeasy is a downright curious anomaly. It's one of the oldest watering holes in the whole darn city of angels, yet it's got itself one of them shiny new ghosts. Yep, old Bennett's spirit supposedly keeps a weather eye on his beloved haunt from beyond the grave. And let me tell you, it's quite the sight to behold. A phantom from days of yore rubbing shoulders with the modern-day revelers like a slice of history served with a side of cocktails.
The Cecil Hotel, shrouded in its own dark history, stands as a silent witness to the eerie and the macabre. Among its chilling tales, the name Black Dahlia echoes alongside the haunting presence of the notorious night stalker Richard Ramirez. Yet perhaps the most perplexing enigma to unfold within its walls dates back to February 1st, 2013. Elisa Lam, a Canadian college student, vanished without a trace while lodging at the Cecil. The LAPD unveiled the final recorded moments of her existence, capturing a sequence that defied rational explanation. In the footage, Elisa steps into the hotel's elevator, her demeanor seemingly ordinary. But then, a surreal ballet unfolds as she maneuvers within the confined space, her actions akin to a spectral performance. She pirouettes, presses every button, and contorts her body in peculiar ways, as if engaging with unseen forces. Initially, speculation veered towards drug involvement, given the bizarre nature of her behavior. Yet accounts from hotel staff portrayed her as vibrant and sociable during her stay. Despite exhaustive searches by law enforcement, including scouring the hotel's every nook and cranny, no traces of Elisa emerged. It wasn't until February 19th that a grim discovery altered the course of the investigation. Guests began to notice unsettling irregularities in the water supply, low pressure, and discolored liquid tainted with an unusual taste. The caretaker ascended to the rooftop, where a ghastly revelation awaited him. Peering into one of the water tanks, he beheld Elisa's lifeless form, unclothed and submerged, her attire resting beside her, encrusted with an unidentifiable substance akin to sand. The manner of her demise posed an insurmountable puzzle. Accessing the rooftop required navigating through alarmed passageways, monitored by vigilant surveillance systems. Even if one bypassed these security measures, gaining entry to the water tanks demanded a feat of physical dexterity, rendering her ascent and subsequent submergence nigh implausible. The post-mortem examination offered no conclusive answers, no signs of violence, no traces of recreational drugs beyond a negligible alcohol presence. Her online presence hauntingly persisted beyond the veil of death, with her Tumblr account updating posthumously, casting an eerie shadow over the entire investigation. The enigma of Elisa Lam persists, perpetuating a maelstrom of theories and conjecture. The haunting footage continues to circulate, a spectral echo of a life extinguished under inexplicable circumstances, leaving behind a legacy steeped in the inexplicable and the otherworldly.
Let me regale you with a whimsical saga of Grey Gardens, a grandiose estate nestled in the opulent bosom of East Hampton. Picture this, a sprawling 4-acre haven in the prestigious Georgica Beach enclave, where in 1895 a couple of highfalutin tycoons decided to stake their claim before erecting the manor in the early 1900s. Come 1913, it found its way into the clutches of a coal magnate, whose better half, Anna Gilman Hill, imported these ostentatious concrete walls all the way from Spain to encircle the garden. And thus, Grey Gardens earned its moniker, owing to the ashen hue of the dunes, the stony embrace of those walls, and the mystical mist of the sea. But hold on to your top hats, for in 1923, the torch was passed to none other than Edith Bouvier Beale, kin to the illustrious Jackie Onassis Kennedy and Lee Radziwill. Alas, fortune frowned upon them, and a cascade of calamities befell the manor, leading it down the path of neglect and desolation. Rumor has it the place became a haven not just for cats and raccoons, but perhaps even some ethereal entities. Enter Big Eddie Beale and her daughter, Little Eddie Beale, who found themselves unable to keep up with the upkeep, thus allowing the mansion to fall into disarray. But fear not, for their tale filled with a pinch of stardust was immortalized in the reels of a 1975 documentary by the Maysles brothers. Now, here's where the plot thickens like a hearty stew left to simmer. Big Eddie clung to her domain until her final curtain call in 1977, Yet legend whispers that her spirit still roams the halls of Grey Gardens, a spectral custodian of its faded glory. And who should step into this spectral spotlight but Sally Quinn, the esteemed wordsmith of the Washington Post, who, in 1979, boldly took the reins from Little Eddie herself. And mark my words, dear friend, she swears by the old gods and the new that Grey Gardens is haunted to its very foundation.
Deep in the heart of Hollywood, there exists an establishment that serves up more than just sushi and sake. This, my dear friend, is Yamashiro, a Japanese restaurant perched high above the cityscape on Sycamore Avenue. But the flickering lights of LA aren't the only things that illuminate the night here. Oh no, it seems the spectral spectacles within Yamashiro provide their own eerie glow. Indeed, patrons have shared tales of a former bartender who refuses to vacate his post, even in death. His ghostly figure, they say, continues to serve up spirits of a different kind, adding a supernatural twist to their cocktails. And if you're planning a wedding here, brace yourself for an uninvited guest. A mournful bride, doomed to eternal sorrow, is said to inhabit the bridal suite. Her wails echo through the halls, chilling the blood of those who dare to listen. Yet when you rush to comfort her, you'll find the room devoid of life. As if that's not enough, you may also encounter the spirit of Thomas O. Glover, the former owner. His ashes are said to be buried in the garden courtyard, and his spectral presence is still felt, overseeing his beloved property from beyond the grave. But the most haunting tale of all centers around a weeping woman, a permanent resident of the second floor. Her sorrowful sobs echo through the halls, chilling even the bravest of hearts. Some say she was a lady of the night during Yamashiro's days as a brothel, her life ending in tragedy. Now she wanders the corridors in a state of perpetual despair. So, my brave friend, the question remains, do you have the courage to venture into Yamashiro and confront its spectral inhabitants? Do you dare to dine amongst the spirits, to taste the thrill of the unknown, and to delve into the mysteries that lie within its walls? The choice is yours. Venture to Yamashiro and see for yourself. Who knows, you might even make a new spectral friend.
So, picture this. You're standing at London Bridge, surrounded by the hustle and bustle of modern-day London. The cars are whizzing by, the chatter of tourists fills the air, and the iconic bridge stretches across the River Thames, a symbol of the city's rich history. But beneath your feet lies a hidden world, a dark and mysterious realm steeped in centuries of bloodshed and tragedy. Centuries ago, during the height of the bubonic plague, London was gripped by fear and death. The plague ravaged the city, claiming the lives of thousands. With nowhere else to put the bodies, they were unceremoniously dumped into mass graves beneath London Bridge. Imagine the horror of those times, the stench of death hanging heavy in the air as carts piled high with corpses made their way through the cobblestone streets. Fast forward to today, and those same tombs have become part of the London Bridge experience, a chilling journey through the city's dark past. As you descend into the depths of the earth, you can feel the weight of history pressing down upon you. The air grows colder, the shadows dance ominously along the walls, and you can't shake the feeling that you're being watched. The London Bridge experience itself is a roller coaster ride through time, from the Roman invasion to the Great Fire of London and beyond. But it's the tombs that really steal the show. Only the bravest souls dare to venture into these eerie chambers, where the spirits of the past are said to roam. And then there's Emily, a ghostly figure said to haunt the tombs. No one knows her story for sure, but she's been spotted by countless visitors, her ethereal presence sending shivers down their spines. Some have even claimed to feel her cold breath on the back of their necks, a ghostly whisper echoing in their ears. But perhaps the most unsettling thing of all is the tale of the mysterious actor. Visitors on certain tours have reported feeling like they're being watched, only to discover that one of the actors isn't quite what they seem. Instead of playing their part, They simply stand and stare, their eyes boring into your soul. And that's when you realize it's not an actor at all. It's Emily, reaching out from beyond the grave to remind us that some secrets are best left buried.
Nestled across from one of Savannah's most illustrious squares, Monterey Square, shrouded in the mystique of the city's historic district, stands the Mercer Williams House, a relic of the antebellum era dating back to 1860. Once left to the ravages of time, it was resurrected from neglect in the 1970s by the renowned preservationist and connoisseur of antiquities, Jim Williams. Within the elegant confines of this Italianate revival, the echoes of tragedy resonate through the corridors. The specter of untimely demise haunts its halls, from the heart-wrenching plunge of 11-year-old Tommy Downs from its rooftop in 1969 to the fateful 1981 altercation culminating in the fatal shooting of Danny Hansford by Williams himself. The saga of Williams continued with his own demise, less than a year following his acquittal in a fourth trial, meeting his end in the very room where Hansford drew his last breath. Their intertwined narrative etched into the annals of history, immortalized in the best-selling chronicle, Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. Yet beneath the veneer of grandeur lies a darker tale, whispered in hushed tones among the locals. Rumors persist of the house's foundation resting atop unmarked graves, fueling the lore of restless spirits and spectral visitations that linger long after dusk descends. While the Mercer Williams House Museum opens its doors to curious visitors, there exists a palpable reluctance to embrace its spectral reputation. Dr. Dorothy Kingery, custodian of her late brother's legacy, remains reticent on matters concerning Jim Williams's notorious past, dismissing conjecture of paranormal phenomena with steadfast resolve. Despite her steadfast denial, the allure of ghostly encounters persists, recounted by those who dare to tread the threshold of the house after nightfall. At the heart of this saga looms the enigmatic figure of Jim Williams, a man enshrined in infamy and controversy. Divisive accounts paint him as either a cold-blooded killer or a misunderstood eccentric. Even in death, the specter of judgment follows him, with Judge George Edward Oliver's damning indictment echoing through the corridors of time. Yet, amidst the conflicting narratives, one undeniable truth remains. Williams found no respite from his tumultuous existence, his final days haunted by the shadows of his own making. Since his passing, whispers abound among the house staff, of spectral apparitions roaming the dimly lit corridors, bearing the likeness of the departed master. Witnesses speak of encounters with Jim Williams' ghost, his ethereal form pacing the halls in silent lament, a spectral reminder of a tumultuous past that refuses to be laid to rest.
Ah, mate, let me regale you with a tale that'll send shivers down your spine, straight from the heart of London's East End. Picture this, the Ten Bells pub, a place steeped in history, where the echoes of the past linger like the smoke from a long-extinguished pipe. Formerly known as the Jack the Ripper, it's got a reputation that precedes it, evoking memories of old Jack himself. Legend has it that in the 90s, the landlord swore blind that Annie Chapman's ghost had taken up residence within these very walls. Annie, bless her soul, was one of Jack's unfortunate victims. Since then, folks have whispered tales of spectral sightings and mischievous poltergeist pranks, with tables dancing and chairs taking a life of their own. Makes you wonder, doesn't it, what lurks within those barrels? Or perhaps something far more sinister is at play. Now here's the kicker. The Ten Bells and Jack the Ripper, they go way back. It's said that some of Jack's victims, God rest their souls, were regulars here before their tragic demise. Take Elizabeth Stride, for instance, thrown out for causing a ruckus in the spring of '88. Or Mary Kelly, spotted sharing a drink with a friend just before her untimely end. And as for Annie Chapman, well, rumor has it, she was knocking back a pint here mere hours before her grisly fate befell her. With ties like that to the Ripper himself, It's no wonder that 10 Bells has become a hotspot for ghost hunters and thrill seekers alike. But wait, there's more. Over the years, both staff and punters have reported eerie apparitions haunting the pub. Could they have caught a glimpse of the Ripper's ghost prowling these very halls? Now brace yourself for the tale of the murdered baby. Picture this. A psychic, called in to investigate the spectral stirrings within the pub. All's well until she reaches the top floor, where she outright refuses to enter a room. Why? Something dreadful, she says, involving the tragic demise of a 19th century infant. Fast forward a few years, and a researcher uncovers a sack hidden behind a water tank in the roof space. Inside, a set of decrepit baby clothes dating back to Victorian times, slashed with a knife. And guess where this eerie find was located? Right above the very room the psychic had pointed out. But hold on to your hat, because the story doesn't end there. In 2001, a tenant experienced something straight out of a horror flick. Footsteps, laughter, and the feeling of being watched, all when he was alone in the pub. Investigate as he might, the corridor remained empty, and as if that wasn't enough, he'd occasionally feel a nudge, a push from an invisible hand, as he made his way down to the bar. So, fancy a pint at the 10 Bells? Who knows? You might just leave with a story to tell that'll make your hair stand on end.
Thanks for joining us on this eerie adventure. If you enjoyed the chills, don't forget to subscribe. More mysteries await. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay curious.